If you're over 60, every bite you take, every snack you love, and every healthy food you trust could be quietly eroding your brain's ability to function. Yes, even foods you've been told are good for you. What if I told you that 9 everyday foods, likely sitting in your kitchen right now, might be increasing your risk of memory loss, brain fog, or even dementia? These aren't just processed junk foods. I'm talking about items you might consider staples, things you eat daily without a second thought. As a neurologist who's worked with thousands of seniors, I've seen it time and again, well-meaning people eating what they believe is healthy, only to find their focus fading, their memory slipping, and their clarity vanishing. Some of these foods disrupt blood flow to the brain, others trigger inflammation, and some even interfere with medications meant to keep you sharp. Worst of all, the damage often happens silently, with no obvious symptoms, until it's too late. In this guide, I'm urging seniors to rethink these foods or, at the very least, change how you consume them. The good news? You can protect your brain with small, informed changes. Stay with me, because the first food on this list might be in your breakfast bowl right now. Before we start, if you find this helpful, type 1 in the comments to let me know. If not, type 0 so I can improve. Let's dive in. 1. White bread, the silent thief of your brain's clarity. White bread seems harmless, a soft slice for your morning toast or sandwich. For decades, it's been a staple in American kitchens. But for seniors over 60, this refined grain could be quietly starving your brain of the nutrients it needs to stay sharp. White bread is stripped of fiber and nutrients, leaving behind simple carbohydrates that spike your blood sugar. I've spent over 25 years studying cognitive decline, and I've seen patients like Susan, a 68-year-old retired librarian. Susan loved her daily white bread sandwiches, thinking they were a simple, low-cost meal. But she started noticing brain fog, forgetting names, losing her train of thought. Her blood tests showed elevated glucose levels, even though she wasn't diabetic. The culprit? Those refined carbs were causing rapid blood sugar spikes and crashes, reducing blood flow to her brain. High blood sugar doesn't just affect your body, it damages delicate blood vessels in your brain, impairing memory and focus. Over time, these spikes contribute to insulin resistance, a known risk factor for Alzheimer's disease, often called type 3 diabetes. Susan didn't realize her healthy sandwich was silently shrinking her brain's ability to function. The danger isn't just in white bread. Bagels, white rolls, and even enriched flour products act similarly. They lack the fiber that slows sugar absorption, leaving your brain vulnerable to inflammation and oxidative stress. I've seen patients suffer from mood swings, irritability, and even early signs of cognitive decline, all tied to diets high in refined grains. The fix is simple but powerful. Switch to whole grain bread with at least 3 grams of fiber per slice. Better yet, try sprouted grain breads, which are easier to digest and have a lower glycemic impact. Susan made the switch, and within weeks her mental clarity improved. Her memory wasn't perfect, but she felt sharper, more present. If you're eating white bread daily, talk to your doctor or a nutritionist about alternatives. Your brain deserves better fuel. 2. Sugary cereals, the breakfast trap clouding your mind. That colourful box of cereal in your pantry might bring back childhood memories, but for seniors, it's a sugar bomb that could be fogging your brain. Many cereals marketed to adults, yes, even the healthy ones, contain hidden sugars that wreak havoc on cognitive health. A single bowl can deliver more sugar than a dessert. Let me tell you about James, a 71-year-old grandfather who came to me worried about his memory. He'd forget where he parked his car or miss appointments. James ate cereal every morning, thinking it was a light, heart-healthy choice. But his favourite brand had 12 grams of sugar per serving, more than a donut. Those sugar spikes were inflaming his brain, disrupting neuron communication. Sugar doesn't just rot your teeth, it triggers inflammation that damages brain cells. Studies link high sugar intake to smaller hippocampal volumes, the brain area critical for memory. For seniors, whose brains are already more vulnerable to oxidative stress, sugary cereals can accelerate cognitive decline. James didn't feel the damage, but his brain was quietly losing ground. The solution? Check cereal labels. Choose options with less than 5 grams of sugar per serving and pair them with protein like Greek yogurt to stabilize blood sugar. James switched to oatmeal with berries and nuts. 3 months later, his memory lapses decreased and he felt more energized. If you love cereal, opt for whole grain, low sugar varieties. Your brain will thank you. 3. Diet soda, the 0-calorie drink. That's not so innocent. Diet soda seems like a smart choice. 0 calories, no sugar, all the fizz. But for seniors, those artificial sweeteners could be quietly rewiring your brain. Aspartame, sucralose, and other substitutes mimic sugar's taste, but confuse your brain's reward system, leading to cravings and inflammation. I treated Margaret, a 74-year-old who drank diet soda daily, thinking it was healthier than sugary drinks. She came to me with headaches and trouble concentrating. Tests ruled out major issues, but her diet revealed the culprit. Artificial sweeteners can disrupt gut bacteria, which science now links to brain health through the gut-brain axis. For Margaret, her healthy soda was triggering low-grade inflammation that clouded her thinking. Studies show artificial sweeteners may increase risks of cognitive impairment by altering neurotransmitter function. For seniors on medications like antidepressants or blood pressure drugs, these drinks can also cause unpredictable interactions. Margaret didn't feel sick, but her brain was under stress and she was losing her edge. The fix is straightforward. Swap diet soda for water, herbal tea, or sparkling water with a splash of real fruit juice. Margaret started drinking lemon-infused water, and her headaches faded within weeks. Her focus improved, and she felt more like herself. If you're sipping diet drinks, check the label and talk to your doctor. Your brain doesn't need artificial confusion. 4. Margarine, the spread that's spreading. Brain inflammation margarine was once hailed as a heart-healthy alternative to butter, but for your brain, it's a hidden danger. Many margarines contain trans fats or highly processed oils that promote inflammation, clog arteries, and reduce blood flow to the brain. Even low-fat versions can be problematic. Take Robert, a 69-year-old retiree who spread margarine on his toast every morning. He came to me complaining of memory lapses and difficulty solving puzzles, something he'd always loved. His diet was otherwise healthy, but the margarine was loaded with partially hydrogenated oils, silently fueling inflammation in his brain's blood vessels. Trans fats don't just harm your heart, they damage the brain's delicate microvasculature, impairing oxygen delivery. Over time, this contributes to cognitive decline and increases dementia risk. Robert thought he was making a smart choice, but his brain was paying the price for decades of outdated dietary advice. The solution? Switch to small amounts of real butter, olive oil, or avocado as spreads. These contain healthy fats that support brain health by reducing inflammation. Robert made the switch to olive oil, and within months his memory lapses became less frequent. Check your margarine's ingredients. Avoid anything with partially hydrogenated oils. Your brain needs fats, but they have to be the right ones. 5. Processed deli meats. The sandwich staple, stealing your focus. Deli meats like ham, turkey, or salami are quick, convenient, and seem harmless in a sandwich. But for seniors, these processed meats are packed with sodium, nitrates, and preservatives that can cloud your brain. High sodium raises blood pressure, reducing blood flow to the brain, while nitrates trigger inflammation. I met Clara, a 76-year-old who loved her daily turkey sandwich. She started noticing trouble with word recall and felt off after lunch. Her blood pressure was creeping up despite medication. Her deli meats were loaded with sodium, over 800 milligrams per serving, pushing her daily intake far beyond the recommended 1,500 milligrams for seniors. High sodium strains blood vessels, limiting oxygen to the brain and increasing risks of vascular dementia. Nitrates, used to preserve deli meats, can also form compounds that damage neurons over time. Clara's brain was under siege from a food she thought was lean and healthy. The fix: opt for fresh, unprocessed meats like roasted chicken, or make plant-based sandwich with hummus and veggies. Clara switched to homemade chicken breast slices, and her blood pressure stabilized. Her word recall improved, and she felt clearer. Check deli meat labels. Choose low sodium, nitrate-free options, or skip them altogether. Your brain deserves better. 6. Ice cream, the sweet treat. Freezing your brain's potential. Ice cream is a beloved treat, especially on warm evenings. But for seniors, that creamy indulgence could be chilling your brain's ability to function. High in sugar and saturated fats, ice cream spikes blood sugar and clogs arteries, reducing blood flow to the brain. I treated Henry, a 70-year-old who enjoyed a nightly bowl of ice cream. He came to me worried about forgetting conversations and feeling sluggish. His diet revealed the issue. The sugar and fat in ice cream were causing inflammation and impairing his brain's insulin sensitivity, a key factor in memory function. Saturated fats don't just affect your heart. They trigger the release of inflammatory markers that harm brain cells. Over time, this contributes to cognitive decline and increases Alzheimer's risk. Henry didn't feel the damage, but his brain was struggling to keep up. The solution? Swap ice cream for frozen yogurt with live cultures or fruit-based sorbets with no added sugar. Henry started blending frozen bananas with berries for a creamy, brain-friendly dessert. His mental fog lifted and he felt more engaged. If you love ice cream, enjoy it sparingly, once a week, not daily. Your brain needs room to breathe. 7. Canned soups, the comfort food that's discomforting your brain. Canned soups seem like a cozy, healthy choice, especially for quick meals, but many are loaded with sodium and additives that can harm your brain. A single can contain over 1,000 milligrams of sodium, spiking blood pressure and stressing brain blood vessels. Take Ellen, a 73-year-old who relied on canned soups for lunch. She started experiencing dizziness and trouble concentrating. Her blood pressure was dangerously high, despite medication. The sodium in her soups was constricting blood vessels, limiting oxygen to her brain and increasing her risk of stroke and cognitive decline. High sodium doesn't just raise blood pressure, it causes chronic inflammation that damages neurons. Additives like MSG can also trigger headaches and brain fog in sensitive seniors. Ellen thought she was eating light, but her brain was under heavy strain. The fix? Make homemade soups with fresh vegetables and low-sodium broth, or choose canned options with less than 400 milligrams of sodium per serving. Ellen switched to homemade vegetable soup, and her dizziness faded. Her focus improved, and she felt more in control. Check soup labels carefully. Your brain can't afford the sodium overload. 8. Fried foods, the crispy culprit. Frying your brain cells, fried foods like French fries, fried chicken, or onion rings are tempting. But for seniors, they're a direct assault on brain health. The trans fats and oxidized oils in fried foods promote inflammation and damage blood vessels, starving your brain of oxygen. I saw this with Thomas, a 67-year-old who loved his weekly fried chicken. He came to me with memory lapses and difficulty focusing. Tests showed early signs of vascular damage, linked to the trans fats in his fried foods. These fats were clogging his brain's arteries, reducing blood flow and increasing dementia risk. Fried foods don't just harm your waistline, they trigger oxidative stress that kills brain cells. For seniors, whose brains are less resilient, even occasional indulgence can accelerate cognitive decline. Thomas didn't realize his comfort food was stealing his mental sharpness. The solution? Bake or grill your favorite foods using olive oil or avocado oil. Thomas switched to baked chicken with herbs, and his memory lapses became less frequent. His energy returned, and he felt sharper. If you crave crispy textures, try air-fried veggies with minimal oil. Your brain needs clean fuel, not fried chaos. 9. Instant noodles. The quick meal, slowing your brain. Instant noodles are a go-to for quick, cheap meals. But for seniors, they're a hidden threat to brain health. Packed with sodium, MSG, and unhealthy fats, they spike blood pressure, trigger inflammation, and disrupt brain function. I treated Linda, a 75-year-old widow who ate instant noodles several times a week. She came to me with headaches, confusion, and trouble sleeping. Her blood pressure was dangerously high, and the MSG in her noodles was causing neurological irritation, worsening her symptoms. MSG can overstimulate brain cells, leading to headaches and cognitive fog, while high sodium strains blood vessels. For seniors on medications, these noodles can also cause interactions that disrupt drug efficacy. Linda thought she was saving time, but she was risking her brain's future. The fix? Swap instant noodles for whole grain pasta with fresh tomato sauce or homemade stir-fries with veggies and lean protein. Linda started making quick rice noodle bowls with low-sodium broth, and her headaches stopped. Her clarity returned, and she felt more rested. If you rely on instant noodles, check the sodium content and limit them to once a month. Your brain deserves better. So, what can you eat? After learning about these 9 brain-sabotaging foods, from white bread to instant noodles, you might feel overwhelmed. But here's the empowering truth. You can nourish your brain with foods that support clarity, memory, and vitality. Think fatty fish like salmon, rich in omega-3s, leafy greens like kale, but in moderation and cooked, and berries packed with antioxidants. Work with your doctor to create a diet that complements your medications and health conditions. Simple changes, like swapping white bread for whole grains or diet soda for herbal tea, can make a profound difference. It's never too late to protect your brain. Share one change you'll make in the comments below. and let's support each other. Type 1 if this was helpful, or 0 if you want different content. Here's to a sharper, stronger mind.